Hello, friends. Welcome to episode 47 of the Nope Coach podcast. What if you're overweight because you overgive? I'm your host, Suzanne Kohlberg, recording on a sunny Sydney afternoon. Try saying that 3 times fast. It was surprisingly cold here this morning, 2 degrees Celsius, which is very much Australian cold. I know some of you from other countries might be laughing and going, "You think that's cold? This is cold." But it was certainly breezy for us this morning, or brisk, I should say. So today's episode, What if you're overweight because you overgive, is one of the foundations of my work. So if you don't know my story, in a nutshell, I had a near 30-year-long dieting history. And for every diet I tried, there was an equal and opposite binge. And I always thought if I just found the right diet, then my weight issue would be solved, would be fixed. And they say life's lived forward and understood backwards. So I didn't really understand the link between being overweight and overgiving until I got out of it. So I want to talk today about the overgiving cycle. If you don't have a weight issue, if you're not an overeater, other ways this can show up in this cycle is overdrinking, overworking, over scrolling, over gaming, some form of over. But for the purposes of this episode, we're going to talk about overweight, overeating, and I can do other episodes in future. So send me through an email, info@suzannekohlberg.com, if you want me to explain this overgiving cycle with other overs. Totally happy to do that for you. So how the overgiving cycle begins, if you've got a pen and paper, if you're studious as you're listening to this, draw yourself a circle. At the very top, in point number 1, write, make plans. So the first thing we do, well, in my experience and everybody I worked with when we're overweight, is we make plans. Okay, I'm going to do insert diet here. Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig, though I think they are no longer going, Dukin, Paleo, Tony Ferguson, what's that, body trim, you name it, you insert it here. It's like, I found the thing. If you want to read an entire book on this, The Beginning is Shit, an unapologetic weight loss memoir. Shameless plug for my book there. Google it by going Suzanne Kohlberg on Amazon or whatever bookstore. Don't put the title in because with shit in the title, it's hard to find. So anywho, number 1, for those of you writing along at home, make plans. Step number 2, if you go around the circle a bit, is overgive. What I mean by that is someone says, could you just, and you ditch your plans to take care of others. Mom, could you just help me with my homework? You know, partner, wife, parent or whatever, could you just pick up my script or do my groceries? Could you just help me with this? I need help with, insert thing here. We ditch our plans, our plan to eat healthy or go to the gym or work out or whatever in order to help and caretake others. Then if you've got the little circle analogy at home, moving along to point 3, we burn out. We give so much to others. We're forever playing mum's taxi, picking up the script, cleaning the house, caretaking somebody else's mental, emotional breakdown, and so on and so forth. I know I speak a bit glib, but you know what I mean. That friend or that family member who's always you're the emotional dumping ground for. It's like, I can't take this anymore. And we burn out. And whether we're conscious of it or not, we start to feel stressed and a little resentful. Like, why do they always ring me? Why am I always the person? And because we're exhausted and resentful and burnt out, the next step, for those of you playing along at home, move around your circle a bit more to step number 4, is we overeat or overconsume in some way. So if you're not a foodie like me, this could be where you drink or you game or you shop or you scroll. Like Amazon Prime's your best friend, because all day you've said yes to everybody else and no to yourself. You haven't followed through on your plans. And then suddenly it's like, thank goodness, everyone's in bed. I'm just going to eat all the chips and the chocolate and all the stuff I've denied to myself all day. And then from the place of overeating, moving across the wheel to step 5, feel guilty, feel ashamed. I know what to do, but I just don't do it. Can't keep my shit together. I'm no good at this. And then from feeling guilty, go back to make plans. Oh, this wasn't the right diet. This wasn't the right program. This wasn't the right coach. This wasn't the right gym. I just need to find and sign up for the next thing. If this is you, no shame or shade here. This was me for nearly 30 years. The only thing that lost weight was my wallet as I went from diet to program to diet to person to gym to nutritionist to naturopath. I had the supplements graveyard in the back of my pantry because, you know, each person I went to was like, you just need this ginseng or you just need this herbal thing. And really what I needed was just to say no without feeling like a bitch so that I could follow through on the things that I wanted to do. Because at the end of the day, they all work. All the plans work if you work them. But if you're not following through because you're running around after everybody else, because you have an inability to say no, that's where the issue is going to lie. I'll explain this in another way. It's completely unrelated, but it was a turning point for me. Last year, probably was the year before now, our ceiling, our roof was leaking. Thankfully in the stairwell, so nothing in the household itself was being damaged, but the stairs, and we are renting our house. We don't own this house. So I called the realtor and I was like, there's something happening. We have a leak. It's coming into the stairwell. And they're like, well, that's no good. We'll call the landlord, sort out a person to come around and repair it. I'm like, wonderful. So we'd had quite a rainy spell in Sydney. So this, as a result of all this water coming in through the ceiling, the paint had warped and the carpet was ruined. So someone came around, they fixed the ceiling and then they painted the walls and then they repaired the carpet. And then Bob was supposedly our uncle and everybody went on their merry way. A couple of weeks later, it rained again. And once more, it is a fountain in the stairwell. So I ring the realtor again. I'm like, something's not happening here. And they once again sent the person back who fixed the roof, apparently, and painted the walls and fixed the floor. Anyway, on the third go, this was not on. And I remember speaking to my dad and I was telling my dad about what's happening. He's like, has anyone climbed up on your roof? It's like, I don't think so. He's like, well, what have they been doing? I said, well, they've been going up in the manhole. And he's like, nah, I think they should go and get onto your actual roof. And I was like, I'm not going to tell a roof repair person how to do their job. Anyway, the moral of the story, and what has this got to do with overweight, overgiving, all this sort of thing? If the issue with why you're carrying extra weight isn't actually to do with what you're eating and how you're exercising, it doesn't matter how many plans you try. Because at the end of the day, you're not addressing the glaring hole in the roof. So when we find a diet, when we are overeaters and we find a diet and we get a result for a little while, we're like, yeah, this is working. This is the thing. Chances are it's either not raining, so we're not noticing the stuff coming through, or we're changing our over-consuming from overeating to something else. So the times I was successful, because I've lost and regained in excess of 500 kilograms in my life. It's like 1,000 pounds. That's a lot of fucking weight. When I was successful losing weight before I got into the mindset and before I found this cycle and learned to say no without feeling like a bitch, my overeating would go to over shopping or overworking or over scrolling, or at one stage over exercising. And everyone laughs at that. Over exercising, what a problem to have. But anything done in excess is dangerous in the long term. As a result of over exercising, I have a lifelong injury to my back. So all this to say, the overgiving cycle, and I'll just quickly recap it. Step 1 is make plans. And that could be, to follow a diet or an exercise regime. It could be to write blogs, could be to do a podcast. Any aspiring podcast listeners here, could be to start your business, whatever the thing is. You make the plans. Then step 2 is you overgive. So you don't write your blogs, you don't eat your healthy foods, you don't go to the gym because you're very busy overgiving, over caretaking, being responsible for everybody else. sometimes whether they asked for it or not. I don't even have time in this space, but I could do a whole other episode about how when I don't want to do my own work, how I go find people to save. My rescuer, my saviorism comes in. It's an out for me. Then I burn out from doing that. And then we overeat or overconsume in some way. So if you're really focusing on nail biting, not overeating, you might transfer that behavior into over shopping, Amazon Prime dude's your best friend, or dudette, I should say, over scrolling, overworking. Then you feel guilty and then you find plans. So if you find yourself going from thing to thing to thing, diet to diet to diet, coach to coach to coach, and you have success for a little while and then you don't, chances are that you're not actually addressing the fact that saying no to others is a challenge for you, even to the point where you're going to look for people to help whether they ask for it or not, because it's like staying in your lane to get shit done is the issue. And if this is resonating for you, this is what I do in my course, Why Wait? It's because, like, what are you waiting for? We all know what to do, but we just don't do it. And you may go, oh, the irony of this, Suzanne, because you've just spent 10 minutes or however long telling us how we're in this cycle, and then you're offering us a new program. In Why Wait, I don't tell you how to eat. I don't tell you how to exercise. There isn't any plan or prescription or anything like that, because the thing is, you know what to do, you just don't do it. So whether you're an overeater or an overworker or an overspender or an overdrinker, like if you know that there's some part of you that doesn't consistently do the things because you have a hard time saying no, that's what we're going to do in Why Wait. And that's how this is different. It's not a step one. It's not a new plan. Gosh, no, there's no plan like that. It's the step two. It's how to say no without feeling like a bitch. It's how to stop overgiving. It's how to keep going and doing the thing. The next cohort for this program, depending on when you're listening to this, it's going to go live in, where are we? June 2023. The next cohort begins in October 2023. However, if you sign up before July, I have a sexy bonus. It's called the Mighty 90. It's a 90-day program about manifestation, Suze style. No fluff, no checks in the mail, none of that bullshit. A small daily practice that, is about calling in the things that you really want to call in. I'm limiting that to 10 spaces. It's the first time I've run that standalone program. And it's a bonus for anyone who joins Why Wait in October for the first 10. So I don't believe in false promises, bullshit, hustle, palaver. There's 10 spots in the Mighty 90 bonus. I currently have 4 spots taken, so there's 6 remaining. If at the time of listening to this, you're like, fuck yeah, I'm in for Why Wait October, you can totally join that. Go to my website, suzannekohlberg.com. It's like join Why Wait. You cannot miss it. And if you're one of the first 10 and you join before July, you'll also grab yourself the Mighty 90. But if you're listening to this after July or after those 10 spots are taken, Why Wait's still fucking fabulous and totally worth it. And join that now. Make that investment in yourself and get ready to finish 2023 strong. Thank you for listening. Hope to see you on the next one. Bye for now.